Is Paul. Yeah, I just got to the cafeteria. Yeah, and there's nobody in here. And yesterday morning, I put some pictures, yes, of the duck and the ducklings, yes. And I thought we should read about Justice John Dillon was a member from 1869 to 1879 in the opinion of City of Clinton versus Cedar Rapids, yes, and the Missouri Railroad Company. Now, Justice Dillon spelled out the terms of his municipal philosophy. A municipal corporation possesses and can exercise the following powers, yes, and no other. First, those granted in express words from the state, yes. Second, those necessarily implied or necessarily incident to the powers expressly granted. And then third, those absolutely essential to the declared objects and purposes of the corporation, not simply convenient, but indispensable. And fourth, yes, any fair doubt as to the existence of a power is resolved by the courts against the corporation. Now, these corporations known as counties, cities, which quite possibly states that are incorporated. Yeah. I'm sitting here because you've been using powers that have not been enumerated to you. Yeah. Now, I know you want to say, Brent, that in the best interests of the women and children, we do use forgeries of the court officers to be able to issue court orders because it doesn't matter who it is that signs the order. As long as there's a signature there, yes, it does not matter the actual identity of the individual. Poop. I want to remind you, Brent, that you can never use forgeries to issue court orders. Now, the Dillon rule was later echoed by the United States Supreme Court in Hunter versus Pittsburgh, yes, 207 U.S. 161 1907. Municipal corporations, yes, owe their origin to and derive their powers and rights wholly from the legislature. It breathes into them the breath of life without which it cannot exist. Yes. Now, the state legislatures have enumerated certain powers to the police, yes, known as the Policing Powers Act. Yes. And you in law enforcement can only exercise policing powers in certain circumstances. Now, let's look at it. Heidi had me arrested on Guam. Yes. There was a police report that was filled out by the Guamanian Police Department. Yeah. They took a statement from me about this allegation of domestic violence and child abuse. Yes. My wife had purchased plane tickets and was ready to leave the island on that day. Yes. When she had me arrested, which with the false allegation of child abuse and domestic violence. Oh. hmm hmm Now, it's one of these where you wanted to believe that she was escaping the island, yes, because of my abusiveness as a husband and a father, yes. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't commit any domestic violence or child abuse. She had bought the plane tickets with the intention of abducting my sons so she could make Oprah shows. Have you seen the show? Now, with the promise of millions of dollars because of the abduction of my sons, yes, um, I'm sure that there was a motive there to get rid of me as a father, yes, because of the wanting to make it look like I was an abusive husband and father, yes, but I wasn't. No. Now, municipal corporations owe their origin to, yes, Supreme Court decision and derive their powers and rights wholly from the legislature. Now, I emailed all of those in the Washington State Legislature. I told every one of them they're getting sued. Yes. And they're getting sued as a body known as the Washington State Legislature. Now, why don't you get me every state legislature? Because I thought I did inform all of them, yes, that you cannot issue a protection order without the availability of the enumerated powers of the Policing Powers Act. Yes. Yes. Now, since the arrest took place on Guam, yeah, and well, I'm suing every state of the United States. Now, I'm sitting here wanting my sons, yes, and I want to have removed the policing power of the Port Angeles Police Department, yes, the Sequim Police Department, yes, the Clallam County Sheriff's Department, yes, and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. Now, for all the other sheriff's departments in the state of Washington that know of the conspiracy to misprison, felony, I'm suing every one of you. Now, I want you to, well, I'm sorry, but the state legislature right now. Now, why don't you have my sons? Yes. Go to the Port Angeles Hospital and have a talk with me. And then why don't you have Marilyn Van Proyen drive over here from Carlsbad, yes, and have a talk with me?